The Big South Women's Tournament begins on Wednesday, and 10 teams will battle for their chance in the NCAA tournament. Hello, everyone. Welcome to SlasherU. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Feck. Let's break down what to watch in this conference bracket. Well, there's 10 teams in this one, Steve, but let's be completely honest. If you look at the standings, it is going to be hard for anyone to dethrone Gardner-Webb. They have not lost a single game in conference this year, 26-4 overall, 18-0 in the conference. It's just going to be really tough. Before we get the thoughts on who we think are going to win, let's break down this bracket. In the first round, we're going to have two games. Number 8, UNC Asheville taking on number 9, Winthrop. The winner will take on Gardner-Webb. And number 7, USC Upstate taking on number 10, Charleston Southern. That winner will take on number 2, High Point. You also have number 3, Campbell taking on number 6, Longwood, and number 4, Radford, taking on number 5, Presbyterian. I know there's plenty of things to talk about Gardner-Webb, so let's start off there. Why do we think that it's going to continue? We're going to see a 21-0 conference win for Gardner-Webb in the Big South.
When you look at the other teams in the conference, High Point, I know there's a lot of people that follow the women's game and certainly the Big South are more closely than we do, Christian, that think that High Point, could have some answers for Gardner-Webb. But I mean, you just look at it. I mean, again, they have a good point differential. If there's one Achilles heel, is that Gardner-Webb is in the lower echelon in the conference as far as defensive scoring goes. But because they score so many points on the offensive end, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. So I just don't see, unless they have like a really bad shooting night and some other team, gets hot early and puts them behind the 8 ball early. I just don't see how anybody is going to keep Gardner-Webb from making a run through the tournament and go undefeated. We were talking about Jessica Williams, Lauren Beavis, Elias Smith. They've got 3 what I would consider Power 5 caliber players on this roster. So they certainly have the talent to make a run at it. Is there anyone that jumped out at you that said, well, maybe this team could upset them?
Well, it's tough. I will be completely honest. It's tough, especially when you finish undefeated in the conference and you've already played everyone. And for the most part, they've defeated them in easy fashion. I will say High Point obviously had, it was a second place in the conference, but they did not look good against Gardner-Webb in their matchups. I will say if anything is going to stop them, it will be in the semifinals. And they have to face either the 4 seed Radford or number 5 Presbyterian. If you go back to January, when they faced Radford, they only won by 4. The next game after that, they faced Presbyterian. They also only won by 4. So that's, I think, where the big game will be for them. Gardner-Webb's championship game, if you will, it will be in the semifinals. If they can get through there, I think they have no problem winning the Big South. I think that's the biggest issue. Get through Radford or Presbyterian, get yourself to the championship game. If you have to play High Point, fantastic. You won by 20, but keep in mind, High Point still has a fantastic team on their hands. They got good players on their squad. Guard Skylar Curran is really good. That senior out of Clemens, North Carolina. I do think Gardner-Webb is still going to run away with this tournament. However, I don't know if it will be a complete open and shut case, I should say. Look out for teams like Radford, Presbyterian, and possibly High Point to give them maybe a little bit of a run for their money. Let us know go ahead.
No, I'm sitting here and I was almost like the old Ralph Cramton, humming. I was trying to think of something to say, this is why Gardner-Webb could go down. Gardner-Webb will beat themselves. I don't know that any of the teams in the conference have a length enough in their roster to, in a tournament game, kind of wear them down. Gardner-Webb has to either turn the ball over too much or they have to have a bad shooting night for them to lose against any of the opponents in here. And that's not a knock against any of the schools. Please, no hate comments from all our Big South fans. That's not what we're aiming for here. But I just think it's just one of those years that one team stands out in a conference, and it's Gardner-Webb.
The championship game will be held on ESPN, 6 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday, March 5th. So let us know in the comment section below, who do you think will win the Hercules Tire Big South Women's Basketball Championship? It's going to be a good tournament regardless. So let us know in the comment description below. Happy watching. March Madness is here.